EOMI means extraocular movement intact of the muscles. Eye movements are working correctly. When Cindy went to the optometrist complaining about blurriness in her eyes, he checked her eyes for EOMI to see if there was a problem with the eye movement as well as with the blurriness. CAD means coronary artery disease. This would mean a narrowing or blockage of the arteries and vessels that provide oxygen and nutrients to the heart. An ultrasound of the heart may help in the diagnosis of a CAD in a patient that complains of chest tightness, trouble breathing, or discomfort along the left arm and shoulder. PND means paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, and this is a condition of waking up at night with difficulty breathing. Sam could not understand why he was waking up with shortness of breath until his partner explained to him that this could be PND and he needed to see a physician for treatment as this can cause death. MRI means a magnetic resonance imaging. This is a method used to produce images on the inside of a person's body by means of a strong magnetic field. My doctor suggested that I have an MRI at the local hospital to see if there are any blockages in the gastrointestinal tract. TSH means thyroid stimulating hormone. This is a hormone that is secreted by the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland and stimulates the thyroid gland. It is not uncommon in a person with thyroid problems for the doctor to prescribe a medication such as TSH to make it function properly. Bradycardia means abnormally slow heart actions. While listening to the patient's heart with the stethoscope, the doctor heard bradycardia and explained that there were beating sounds that were not normal coming from his heart. Trichomoniasis means an infection of the genital and urinary tract. It is considered to be a sexually transmitted disease. Sarah knew that having unprotected sex could possibly be the reason for her discomfort in her vaginal area and had a problem urinating, so she made an appointment with her gynecologist to see if there was any trichomoniasis. Pyrogenic means produced by fever or producing fever caused by heat. The pyrogenic that caused the extreme sunburn caused swollen, red, and painful skin that was on the legs of a girl who laid in the sun too long without any sunblocker on. Syndactylism means the condition of a person with two or more fingers joined together. The doctor explained to the young mother that her infant had been born with a defect called syndactylism located on one of its hands, but assured her it could be surgically repaired. Jolloangiogram means an X-ray of the bile ducts produced after injection of a radiographic contrast to create a record of the bile ducts. The doctor suggested a cholangiograph test was needed to visually see what was happening in the bile ducts of Kevin, who was having some lower abdominal discomfort and running a slight fever, which may indicate an infection. Transillumination means is the passing of light through a body structure to permit inspection by an observer on the opposite side. The technician explained that the angle and way the X-ray was to be taken was so that they could get the proper transillumination. Mammography means the process of taking a type of X-ray picture of the breast. The nurse explained to the elderly patient who was not sure about having a mammogram that the mammography would allow the physician to see if there were any lumps within the breast. Catheterization means inserting up a catheter into the body to take collection of samples of a certain for certain tests that must be performed with the use of a contrast dye. When having a heart catheterization, they will normally insert the tube into the right groin area of the patient and then insert the contrast dye. Heterogeneous means a sexual preference is with the opposite sex. Sally visited her doctor on a regular basis for a yearly physical, which included a pap smear, and the doctor asked her about her sexual preferences before examination, and she informed him that she was heterogeneous. Septicemia means an infection in the bloodstream. June, who was a nurse in the local clinic, reported to the patient that the blood test taken earlier that week indicated there was some septicemia going on. Aberrant means wandering away from the natural course. Little Justin went to the doctor for the first time because his mom wanted to find out why his left eye would seem to be turning towards his nose. After examining the eyes, he explained that eye was showing signs of being aberrant. Poliomyelitis is an inflammation of the gray matter of the spinal cord caused by a viral infection that could cause paralysis of the limbs or muscles. In the 1950s, there was an outbreak of poliomyelitis, which caused many children to become paralyzed and unable to walk due to a viral infection that affected their spinal cord. Osteoporosis means it is a diseased condition of the bone in which there is a deterioration of the bone matrix causing weakness, usually caused by a hormone or calcium deficiency during menopause. As my mother aged, her back problems seemed to worsen, and the doctor gave her some vitamins to increase her calcium and to see if that helped with the pain, but he could not give her any medication that would stop the osteoporosis that was also happening and that it would progress with age. Hydrocephalus means a collection of fluid in the head or an increased fluid in the skull can cause an enlarged head. We noticed when our grandson was born that his head seemed to look enlarged, and the pediatrician explained that the infant had hydrocephalus and would need to have the fluid removed. Amniocentesis means the process of tapping or puncturing the protective sac that surrounds the fetus to remove cells for genetic testing. With a history of Down syndrome in Kathy's family, her doctor suggested that she have an amniocentesis performed at a certain time in her pregnancy to test for the presence of this disease.